Hello, and thank you for joining me today for Real Estate, Religion, and You. My name is Dr. Sylvia Black, and I'm a licensed real estate broker with affordable homes and apartments. And I want to thank you for joining me today. Today I'm going to talk to you about a book I've written entitled Auctions, Sealed Bids, Sheriff Sales, Tax Sales, Government, Bank, Mortgage Foreclosures, and more. Okay, and thank you for joining me today. Now, the book basically talks to, I always say, the do-it-yourself investors. You got a lot of investors out there, that are not licensed real estate brokers, but that want the information that real estate brokers have access to. Well, I bring it to you in my book, okay? And it gives you the websites, the addresses, the phone numbers, names, and it lists pretty much very, and I'm constantly adding information to it, because there's a lot. The real estate brokers source for real estate brokers like myself. We research the market. See, I've been in business since 1996. When I started my real estate career in the 80s, okay? Well, I was a 7A administrator. Now, a 7A administrator is a court-appointed building manager. It was a dangerous job, because what I would be doing, okay, in exchange for a 6-week course and a certificate, was I'd be managing property. I'd locate the rundown buildings, and back in the 80s there was plenty of them. This was before Clinton moved to Harlem, okay? And I would locate the rundown buildings, organize the tenants into a tenants association, and then petition the court for a 7-year administrator. Now, this was organized by the New York City Housing Preservation and Development, which I worked for, so to speak. They didn't pay me a salary. I got a commission off the collective rent roll. A lot of tenants didn't have heat or hot water. Some of them didn't speak English at all. They were living in substandard condition. The building was dilapidated. And in some cases, the landlord had left. He would just vacate. He just said, forget it. He washed his hands. So what I did was I worked with the tenants at first, and we petitioned the court with the help of the attorney from the New York City Housing Preservation and Development. And we would petition the court for a 7-year administrator, which would be myself. Okay, and then I would manage the building, okay, use the collected rent roll to bring the building back up to code compliance. Okay, and the tenants would actually participate in the helping of the renovation of the building, because they live there. And then what we'd do is I'd elect a tenants association and a steering committee. Now, I wrote a book entitled Tenants' Rights, which documents my experience as a 7-day administrator. And it has forms in there, and it talks about tenants' rights, okay? And it's available also on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, and a few other websites that you'll see listed at the bottom of your screen. Now, this book, Auctions, Sealed Bids, etc., is also available on Amazon as well as Barnes & Noble. And it's quite a resourceful book. Like I said, I started my career out. When I took that course, I knew what I wanted to do for the rest of my life, manage property. Okay, but just like you have a lot of starving musicians out here, I didn't feel that I had what it takes at the time, because I had no experience. And nobody was hiring me to manage the building. I couldn't even get a job as a leasing agent. So I got a job doing something completely unrelated to what I wanted to do to pay the bills, rather than being a starving artist. Okay? So I did that. And then I finally got the nerve to apply for a leasing agent position. But in 1996, I got my real estate broker's license. Honey, I was like a beast. Okay? Well, to beast on wheels, honey, you couldn't tell me nothing. because I had already knew what I wanted to do as a career. Okay, so what I started to do, I researched the market. I said I was studying while I'm working at this unrelated job. That's paying. Job wasn't bad at all, actually. Some of them I was, I would work in. I would work in a couple of banks. I had worked in a bank. I worked at a customer service representative. You know how you on the phone, not not debt collector, but basically, servicing the customers of the certain banks. So it was almost just like, and meanwhile I'm getting my experience. And I'm writing my book, so I'm getting all this knowledge. It's like, I'm going to college, and my degree is going to be in my experience as a real estate broker. So I start, selling real estate. I start, working with other, but I could never be satisfied with actually working for someone else. I had to be in business. I had to do this on my own because I had worked other jobs working for other people. But this, I knew I had to be independent. So, I wrote books, several books, that documented the experience that I had encountered and the different types of, things that I had found out. None of this stuff, basically very little, is advertised in the newspaper. I had never ever found any of it advertised unless I put it there. And then it's advertised in the newspaper, okay? So this book here, Auction, I call it for the do-it-yourself investor. Okay, it's for the investor. You have a lot of investors out there. Investors taught me some stuff too. And I was out there and whatnot. I dealt with some investors and whatnot. Now, as a result, we have a publication called Foreclosures Weekly that we publish on a weekly basis, and that's available for you if you want to subscribe to that. That gives you the actual list of foreclosures. Okay, instead of you going to the website, probably a lot more comprehensive book. Because you can go to the website and let the, seller do the work in terms of gathering the information. Now, we'll send you the list of some properties, but the foreclosures publication, it's still available if you want to purchase subscription, annual subscription. We have a real estate club that we haven't had for a while, and if you would love to be a member of the real estate club, please feel free. There's a membership application in the back of the book, as well as the foreclosure subscription application in the back of the book. Now, you'll be able to go to my website at affordablehomesandapartments.com soon, and you'll be able to fill out an online application. Okay, but that's pretty much, I talk about bank, government, mortgage foreclosures, sheriff sales, tax sales, pre-foreclosures. Okay, the question is, have you ever thought of getting a tax foreclosure before the tax foreclosure sale? Nah, I know how to do that. Okay, and I know where, I go where property is the cheapest and there's more, you know what I mean? And if I got to live in the middle of it so that I can be surrounded by it, not necessarily, in it, you know what I mean? But I'm in a decent place, but I mean, so that the property is accessible to me. I'm accessible to it. And then now, here I am, I can get what it is that I need to get because I can find it because it's right at my fingertips. You see, so in terms of the market, and I'm not just talking about in New York State. I've researched, many states, not all states, but several states, and I find that their properties are cheap. I'd be right here in New York, and I buy property, hundreds of miles away without even looking at it, And I'll talk to you about how to do those kinds of things too. How to buy a house without even needing a title search, because you know who the owner is, So, I mean, what about a mortgage foreclosure before it goes to foreclosure? What about buying any kind of foreclosure before it goes to the sale? Okay? Perfectly legal. Perfectly legal, my dear brothers and sisters. You got to know how to do it. It's so lucrative that it seems like it's illegal. I mean, you just be bringing in the money just be coming to you. It's like, come here, come hundreds, thousands, come on, baby. And it just comes to you, walk to you like it's your baby. I mean, and here it is. Money be like, you make so much money, you be like, yeah, this seems like it's illegal, but it's not. I'm gonna make sure it's not illegal because I ain't be looking over my shoulders. Okay. Uh, I talk about shopping for an investment. You know. Now most of you know how to do it. You have some investors. Now there's one type of investment that's called wholesaling. I like that kind of deal. It's okay. It's okay, and it can bring in some money. What it is, it's property for those who are not licensed to make money. Okay? When I'm selling a house, though, I always sell it at just a little below market value so that the buyer can capitalize on the equity in the house. Now, you may or may not know what I just said, but if you come to my workshop, you'll find out, when I'll explain it to you. Okay? But certain types of properties, we can purchase. And, you don't have to. See, I usually buy it at below market value. I'll buy it in its rundown condition because I know I can get it cheap. I'm not scared of work, okay? And that's the kind of people that I employ. If you're scared of work, don't come around me, because, I ain't got no use for you. But, the thing is, you buy a house. Okay, so buy a house let's say the house is marketed at even $300,000. I get it at 10, 20. Okay, I get the house at 20,000. Okay, and I sell it for maybe 50, 60, right? Maybe 70. I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to do nothing to it. I'm not even going to put a broom to it. Okay, but I'm going to make sure that it's nice and secure. I'm going to get my insurance on it in case it's vandalized. And then I'm going to put it on the market. I don't care how long it takes. And I'm not settling for any price less than what I'm asking. See, let's give you some numbers. Buy the house, it's worth really, let's say 150,000. Okay, I buy it for 10, sell it for maybe 50, 60. Okay, and then you got a wholesaler that comes along. He wants to make some money off of the deal, so he's going to sell it at $20,000 more, right? That's not what I want to do because that's going to hamper me in getting my money. Okay, so I want to sell it at what I want to sell it at. You buy it, and then you can sell it for that and get that $20,000. But they don't want to. They don't. They want to. Jack it up another 20,000. And then instead of me selling it for 60, now I'm selling for 80. And it's not that much below market value. Although it is, then it's not higher than I want to sell because it's not going to sell as quick. But when the right person looks at that ad, or that concept, that listing bill. If it's in another state, then I know. They're going to say, I want that house, and they're going to give me more money than I'm asking because they want it. But if I get a wholesaler that says, hey, you selling it for 60, I'm a wholesaler for 80. Okay, so they're going to try to make 20,000. No, I don't want that. I'm not going to do business with you. I just don't like that kind of deal. I just think that there's something wrong with it. It may not be illegal, but I don't like it. Now me if I buy a house, yeah, I'm gonna do that. But what I'm gonna do is if I have the exclusive dibs on selling your house and helping you save it from foreclosure, yeah, I might charge more than my regular commission. So I can make a little extra money. Maybe. It depends on how cheap the house is because the cheaper the house, the faster the sale. Okay, so there's a whole lot of things that you can consider in terms of, your real estate investment. Okay, but this book will give you the resources right in your hands and your fingertips, that you'll have the knowledge and the information that we real estate brokers have. Now, I've been real estate researching the market ever since I've been in business. Okay, so I have a lot of knowledge about a lot of things, and I'm constantly researching because things are changing, and things are getting better, and, there's money available to people like you and me. Investors, real estate brokers, buyers, sellers, and on all of that. All of us in the real estate business. There's money to be made, but you just got to know how to do it. You got to know the ins and the outs. You got to know who to talk to. You got to do your homework. You got to do your research. And a lot of people don't want to take the time to do that. They just want to just go ahead and get it because their emotions take over. Okay? So, but an educated consumer is my best. Okay, I talk about government homes, as I said before. Talk about foreclosures. Building wealth in foreclosures. Okay, how do you build wealth in foreclosures? Very easy. Very easy. You may start out small, but as you continue to grow, it'll work out for you. Okay, now the book, it's not going to make much money, one book with millions of copies, yeah. Because now you have the same information that you come to real estate brokers for. A lot of times investors, they say, hey, well, I call the investor up and I say, can I get you some foreclosures? And then they talk, they talk about, the equity and whatnot and capitalization and what have you, making a profit and things of that nature. But then what they're really talking about is wholesale, because they're not licensed and they don't know where to get the information from. They may have the money, but they don't know where to go. So my book, auctions, steel bids, sheriff's sale, mortgage, tax foreclosures, all of that and more. There's a whole lot of good stuff in my book. Okay, I talk about, like I said, building wealth in foreclosures. Okay, I talk about vacant lots, vacant land purchase. I talk a little bit about grants, commercial property incentives. Okay, like if you want to buy, enough land, you want to build an apartment building. Okay, I talk about where some people are actually giving away free land in certain states. I talk about that. I have the names in there, the phone numbers, and the addresses right there. Okay, I talk about different branches of government that have incentives. Okay, I will tap on a few different counties, not a lot, but I feel that what it is that they offer, other states offer as well. So when you get my book, you get a copy of it, and you say that there's some states in New York that offer. Well, look it up in the state that you're interested in purchasing, and that same website. Matter of fact, I have a whole appendix of websites in the back of the book for all of the states. When you go to that website, you go into the website of the seller, and the seller sells mortgages property in various states. Some only licensed in certain states. But out of all of those appendix of websites that I have in the book, it covers all 52 states. So this book is actually a synopsis of my Foreclosures Weekly, and it's a lot less work. Because what I did was I just condensed the information that the seller put together, and I put it in my book instead of actually listing the property itself. So now you just go and find the property, clicking on the website and the book. If you get the digital copy, if you get the ebook, then you can actually click on the website, right, on your computer, and go right to the website instead of typing it in. So you have all of the websites here. I talk about single-family houses, multifamily houses, commercial property, vacant land. Okay, I talk about nonprofit and government entities, incentives for nonprofit organizations. Okay, how nonprofits can get money. I talk about different branches of the government, like I said, city, state, and federal. Okay, local, county, and and what have you. I talk about how to apply for certain things. Surplus real estate is available for public use. Some property, like I said, is being given away. Practically, some of it's actually being given away. And some of it's actually so low, so cost you such a little bit of money, it's just like they're giving it away. Okay? Because there's some states that have excess of real estate. Okay? They have so much real estate, there's nobody's mining. But all you got to do is go down here and start buying property and selling it, and the taxes will start going up. And then you're going to create something that that you probably didn't mean to start. But it's going to be a good thing. Okay? I talk about, different private organizations that have incentives. Okay? Like I said, bank, government organizations, and I'm constantly adding stuff to it. And then, of course, there's the time when you really, you get a broker. You call affordable homes and apartments. I want you to buy like 5-10 houses a month. And I want you to find me some houses. Okay, I'm going to find you some houses. Okay, some of them just want to buy the house. They don't want to go through this. And that's fine. That's the kind of investor I like. The one that says, hey, find me some houses. We buy like 5-10 houses a month. I give you the list. and you call me up and you buy houses. One guy called me up, I couldn't believe it. He gonna call me and tell me he bought one house from me. And I said, I have a list of other houses that are, that you can buy. He said, okay, let's send me this. So I waited a month. And I'm like, I know I'm sending this guy some good properties. So I stopped sending him a list, and then he called me and whatnot. He said, why you stop sending the list? I said, when you gonna buy some properties? He said, I am buying some properties. I said, not for me, you're not. I'm going to send you a list of properties for you to go to some other broker and buy the property. I'm sending you a list and you come to me. So you be careful in this business. But when I deal with investors, usually I have a better outcome or better turnout, a better ability to make my commission than I do when I'm dealing with competition with other brokers in selling it's recordable. Believe me, it's recordable. When you buy, if I come to you and you take my client, you steal my client, I can always find out in court if they sold it to you, if you bought it. And then what I'm going to do, take you to court, and I'm going to sue you for my commission. Because I've done it before and I'll do it again. I don't have no problem going to court. Okay? And a lot of times I don't need a lawyer to do it because I know how. Okay, there's so many, I talk about, the organizations that actually seize property. There's so much information in here. It's like, you come to me, you want to buy a house. I got so many houses that I could sell you. You know what I mean? So I could do that all day long. Just send you a list, show you the house and whatnot. Have my agents, show you the house while I'm looking. Okay, here's some houses for you to show. You know what I mean? Send my investors the house and whatnot, and they call us up and say, I want to see this house, I want to see that one, blah, blah, blah. Bam, I'll send 2 of your agents out there. Because that's so much commission, you have to split it. You know what I mean? And sometimes you want to have somebody with you because it's not, you don't want some of these buildings, you don't want to go in there by yourself. You got somebody else in there with you, protection. Not saying that the investor is, shady or whatever, but, you protect yourself. The house could be faulty. The floor could be weak. Anything. But you want to make sure that you're protected. It's so much, talk about how to buy, like I said, how to buy a foreclosure before the sale. How to buy a mortgage foreclosure before the sale. How to buy a tax foreclosure before the sale. Okay? And in certain states that you got to be too careful of. Because in certain states you're buying you're buying the property, but you don't have access to it for a year unless the house is vacant. Now, if owner, sometimes if they still own it and they have active participation in it or live in it, even if they don't live in it, they can live in it or not live in it, but they still actively own it. They might be trying to sell it. Okay, so they don't pay the taxes, let's say. You can go in there and pay the taxes. Okay, but in certain states, you don't get the property because the owner still has what they call a redemption period. They can still redeem the property even after you purchase it. So you're thinking you're buying the property and you're not buying anything. But what you're doing is you're putting money into it. And then what happens is when the owner says, I want to redeem my property, they have to pay the city back the money that they owe them for the taxes. Then they got to pay you your interest. So you're making money off of buying the property. Okay, if you got money that you could just let sit there. But if you want the property, and you want to just buy the house and you don't, get all that mess, then there's certain states you got to do, and I talk about that. I'll be talking about that at my Zoom workshop as well. I'll cover the entire 52 states in this one book. Okay, because the websites are there, and all you got to do is click on the website and find out which states this particular bank or organization deals with. Okay, in whatever state they deal with, that's the state if they don't deal with, you go to the next one. I'm in New York, so okay, I want to go find one that deals in New York. Maybe New Jersey, maybe Connecticut. Maybe I might want to go another 100 miles, another 1,000 miles. Sometimes I almost don't care, but I'm particular about what states I purchase. But if I'm going to purchase a lot of property in that one state, then I'm moving there. I'm going to move there And if I'm there and I'm buying a lot of properties, and then I decide I want to branch out and buy where I used to be, then I'll open up a secondary office. And so I'll be traveling, from office to office or what have you. And then there's a way to keep track of it. So digital technology, honey, is amazing. You'd be surprised. The internet is a wonderful thing. Like I said, I talk about redemption, taxes. The owner has a right to redeem it. And even if you sell it, let's say if the city sells it, what's so interesting about it, they say the property, the city, okay, the owner only owes the city, let's say $5,000. But at the sale, they sell it for 10, right? That's $5,000 that's legally supposed to go back to the owner. Now you could actually start a business where you could actually help the owners claim and get back their money that they supposed to get. But how you gonna get paid? So there's a commission off of it. The question is, do you need a license? What's the legal ramifications behind that? Some states advertise that they have the money. All you got to do is fill out a form. But they don't know that. They're in such distress because they done lost their house to tax foreclosure they didn't pay, that they don't even bother to claim and see if there's any extra money available for them to claim. Okay? And, think about that. I think I lost one house to tax foreclosure. I'm about to call them up myself. But yeah, this is definitely a book that you want to get because it's your whole career in the book. Okay, I talk about home ownership programs, down payment and closing cost assistance, working with certain agencies. Okay, doing business with certain agencies, government, banks, state, local, federal agencies. Okay, we're talking about on the top level, honey. We're not talking about dealing with no little, mom and pop shop. We're talking about the big guys who got the billions of dollars who distribute that money to build apartment complexes. Okay, come on now. We're talking about, big money. We want to, they got the property, they don't have, these organizations, they don't have time to their job is not to manage your property. They hire people to do that, but that's not what they want to finance the house, they want to make the money for the mortgage. They don't have time to be managing property, so they want to sell it. Sometimes they sell it cheaper than what they supposed to get. Like say you get a house for $100,000. You done live there for a certain amount of years and you only owe $50,000. You done face foreclosure, you lost the house, you walk away. Okay, now the bank says I'm selling it and they only want $50,000. But sometimes they'll even take less. And I talk about that in my book, about how you can negotiate with the bank or with whoever it is that, you need to do a specific department that you need to contact. Now you don't have to go searching around to try to find out who that person is or where's the department, because I got it right in my book. I've been doing this since the 80s, honey. I've been licensed as a broker since 1996. Okay, so I know my stuff. Okay, I know my stuff. Okay, and so when you get the book, you're getting it from a legitimate source. Like I said, I talk about non-profit organizations too. Okay, I talk about rehab programs and how we succeed in property management. Anyway, I want to thank you for joining me today. My name is Dr. Sylvia Black, licensed real estate broker with Affordable Home Department, and ask you to join us again next time for more on these topics. I'll let the